Good morning, friends. Welcome to your YouTube channel Origin IVF. I am Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Director of Origin Fertility and IVF. I hope you all must be taking good precautions against Corona. So, coming to the topic of the video today, which is about male infertility or about those patients who have poor sperm count, motility, or shape abnormality of the sperms. Here, the first thing that you need to differentiate is that male infertility and sexual issues are two different things. The sperm problems and sexual issues are two different things. So many times it may happen that the couple has an absolutely normal sexual relationship, still the husband's sperm count comes out to be zero or very low or very poor. And there may be a couple who do not have a good sexual relationship, but the sperm count of the husband is absolutely normal. So these two issues are separate. And why I'm telling you this, because so many times we do get couples where the test of the husband was delayed just because of the reason that they thought that the sperm count was absolutely, the sexual relationship was absolutely okay. So they assumed that the sperm count also would be okay. But ultimately, after 2 years, 3 years, after wasting a lot of time and a lot of money on wives testing, it was realized that the problem was actually with the husband. So take these two issues separately. Also, one of the very important thing here is what I feel, that whenever a couple presents to us with infertility, the first investigation that should be done for the couple is the husband's semen analysis. Why I'm telling that is because that test is so simple, it is so cheap, and it is so easily available that this should be the first test. And this is the only test of the husband, by which we can, just doing a simple test, we can understand that husband is okay. And now let's concentrate all our efforts and time and energy on wife. So do make sure that whenever you're going for infertility investigation, that semen analysis is not missed. Many times we do get patients where the husband test was not done because of a lot of myths, because of male ego, and then ultimately it only wastes time. So that's very important to do this test timely. One of the very important facts that I would like to bring about here is that all around the world, male infertility is rising. So whenever a couple is infertile, earlier, the blame always used to come on female, and it was always a female's fault. But it is not any longer. In almost equal cases, it is male, or it is the husband who is responsible for infertility. Why the infertility? We can see this from our WHO criteria of sperm numbers. Earlier, the WHO sperm count, they used to say more than 60 million was normal. Then they came to more than 20 million. And now they say that even 15 million per ml is normal. So slowly and gradually, the sperm counts all around the world are decreasing. Why that is decreasing, that we are not sure. It could be related to the pollution. It could be related to pesticides, or the use of plastics, or electromagnetic radiation, or use of mobile phones. We are not sure, but the fact is that male infertility is rising and the sperm counts are decreasing. So please do semen analysis at the earliest if you are suffering from infertility. Now, where to do this test, when to do this test? Ideally, this test should be done in a reputed laboratory. It should be done in a laboratory where the sample is processed in the same laboratory. So it should not be in a collection center. It should not happen that you have given the sample here and then in 2 hours or 3 hours sample is being transported to another laboratory, because here we are dealing with live sperms. They have life. So if the sample is not tested within 45 minutes to 1 hour, the report will automatically be poor. So first thing is, it should be done in a center where the checking facility is available in the same center itself. Preferably, if it is an IVF center, it is better, because the process of seeing the sperms is it differs from technician to technician, and of course the experience of IVF centers matters a lot. Then Preferably the sample is to be given after a gap of 3 to 5 days of sexual relationship. So that means after an abstinence of about 3 to 5 days. Why we are telling 3 to 5 days? If the gap is less, the count number will decrease and it will come out to be low. If the gap is more, the count, the dead sperms would be more. So both are not okay. Too much of abstinence is also not okay. Too little abstinence is also not okay for appropriate reporting of the sperm count. Ideally, the sample you have to give in the center itself or in the laboratory itself, so the transport time is not wasted and the sample is not damaged during the transport. So it is given by masturbation in a wide-mouthed, non-toxic bottle, preferably in the center itself. So in the IVF centers, usually they have dedicated rooms, which are known as semen collection room, for this purpose. But otherwise, if it's not possible for you to go to a IVF lab, you can go to any reputed laboratory near your house. Okay, so this is how the sample is collected. Somehow there may be some patients who are not able to give sample in the center itself because of tension or because of stress or whatever. So in that condition, you may take the container from the center. The containers are special, non-toxic, wide-mouthed containers. I mean, it cannot be just any other plastic bottle. So you can take the container at home, give the sample at home, and then try to transport the sample within 30 to 45 minutes to the center, so that the time is not too much. And while transporting the sample, also you take care that the sample is maintained at 37 degrees centigrade. Okay, so how do you maintain that at 37 degrees centigrade? Is by keeping the sample in your hand. So you can cover the container with the tissue paper and then keep it in the hand, so that by the hands warmth, it is kept at body temperature. The sperms are at body temperature, so that they do not die out during the transport. So this is the process of semen analysis. So now you have the report in your hand. Okay, now how to read that report? So we in these times we read the report according to the latest WHO 2010 criteria. Okay, according to that, the volume of the semen should not be less than 1.5 ml. Okay. The second thing in that semen analysis report is the count of the sperms, or the sperm count. So the normal sperm count which is taken these days is at least 15 million per ml. So many times we see couples who come to us where the count has been 20 million or 25 million, but the reference range given by that laboratory has been 60 million or 40 million, which is the reference range according to the older criteria. And the couple come in a lot of panic that our count is so less, ma'am, it is so less. And they have been so many times taking medication also to improve the sperm count. So no, the latest criteria for normal sperm count is 15 million per ml, which is absolutely normal sperm count. If the count is less than that condition, we medically call it as oligospermia. Okay. The second important thing in the sperm analysis report is the motility of the sperm. Okay, so sperms are live, they keep on moving, and out of these, the sperms which are moving very fast in straight direction or progressive, which is known as progressive fast movement, those are the sperms which lead to fertilization. These are the sperms which will actually form a baby. So in the sperm analysis or in the semen sample, we are only bothered with those fast moving, fast progressively motile sperms. So as per WHO, the at least 32% sperms should be moving fast in the forward direction. So if there is the motility is poor, that condition is known as asthenospermia. So it may happen that your sample has, let's say, 100 million count, but 90% are dead. There are only 10% sperms which are moving fast in the progressive direction. So that sample is also very poor, and that is known as asthenospermia. The third defect could be abnormal shape of the sperm. So it may happen that you have got, let's say, 90 million sperm, and the sperms are moving nicely also, but all the sperms are abnormal. Their shape is abnormal. The sperm is formed of head, neck and tail, and the defect could be anywhere in the structure. There could be double heads, there could be round head, there could be broken neck, there could be coiled tail. So there could be many defects in the structure of the sperm, and that is medically known as teratospermia, when the structural defects are seen in the sperm. As per WHO, even if you have 4% normal sperm, we will take it as a normal sample. But sometimes we do see patients where there is only 1% sperm which are normal shape and the rest are not, or all the sperms are abnormal. So even those sperms are not good for fertilization. And sometimes these three defects can combine together, and such cases are known as oligoasthenoteratozoospermia. Okay, so this is how you read the report. Okay, so now that you have seen the report, and let's say the report has come out to be abnormal. Okay, so don't worry about it, because it is just one report. And in semen analysis, we never rely on only one report. Ideally, it is said that at an interval of 15 days, we should repeat the sample at least 3 times before confirming that yes, it is all the time low. Because it may happen that due to prolonged illness and due to certain conditions, one odd report may. What is the reason for poor sperm report? Okay, so we can say that we can divide the causes into 3 categories. It could be medical, it could be environmental, it could be lifestyle. And in so many times we do not know the cause. In many of the times we do not know the cause. Coming to the medical causes could be that there's something wrong in the hormones. The hormones FSH and LH, which are secreted from our brain, from our pituitary, and this is a hypothalamic gonadal axis. There may be something wrong in that hormones production, and that's why the testes are not forming a sperm or forming very little sperms. So that particular thing can be diagnosed by a fertility specialist and can be specifically taken care of. In the medical causes, there could also be a patient who earlier had let's say cancer chemotherapy or radiotherapy. Obviously the count decreases in such patients. There could be a prior history of testicular tuberculosis. There could be prior history of some surgery on the testes, like testis had torsioned, or there was some trauma to the testes. There could be a childhood disease called mumps, which is a viral disease in which there is a swelling in the parotid glands, and that can affect the testes in childhood. So these are certain medical conditions. There could be genetic conditions also. There are certain Y chromosome defects, on which neither you have any control nor we have any control, but that could also be a reason for poor sperm count and sometimes nil sperm count. Okay. In the environmental causes, we are not sure, but the rising use of pesticides, fertilizers which are not organic, and these are taken as, or dietary too much use of the preservatives and all that. These are taken as maybe responsible factor for decreasing the sperm count all around the world. Then in the environmental causes also, we have to take care of this overall temperature of the surroundings. The testes in a man's body are outside the body in the scrotal sac. And why they are outside? Because the testicular temperature has to be at least 1 or 2 degrees lower than the normal body temperature. So if there are certain conditions which increases the overall temperature of the scrotum, that can also harm sperm production. So it has been seen in factory workers, like the workers who work in too much heated surroundings, like glass factory workers or steel factory workers or furnace workers. They have poorer sperm counts. Or any other condition which can increase the scrotal temperature, like prolonged driving. Somebody who's driving for hours and hours and for months altogether, like truck drivers and professional drivers, they can also have decreased sperm counts. Also, typical habit these days of keeping the laptops in the lab for long hours. The laptop downside becomes very heated, and sometimes it can damage these sperms and it can affect the sperm. This is something which is in your control, and you can take care to avoid that. Prolonged sitting jobs also, prolonged driving, prolonged sitting jobs can also decrease the sperm counts. Wearing tight underwears, similarly, it is said that tight underwears can raise the scrotal temperature, and it's better to avoid wearing tight underwear, especially if you are suffering from poor sperm count. So these are certain environmental factors. Then there are certain lifestyle factors. Among the lifestyle is weight. To too much weight or too little weight, both are not good for sperm count. If a person is fat, so this central obesity, the male hormone testosterone is converted into female hormone estrogen, so that kind of decreases the sperm production and the number. So too much weight is not good. Even too little weight, underweight, also is not good for sperm production. So that is a lifestyle weight which is under your control and you can take care of it. Other than that, alcohol we know is definitely not good for sperms. Smoking is not good. Tobacco is not good. Using drugs is not good. So our first question to the couple, whenever a couple comes to us for infertility, we always ask the male partner about the smoking, about alcohol, and about any recreational drug use. Other thing is seen in the gym people, who are trying to build their body. So sometimes they use anabolic steroids or testosterone supplements to for making muscles. So that also decreases sperm count. So that take care that in the gym you do not take these steroid supplements or testosterone supplements for making your muscle mass. Because it will definitely impact your sperm count. So these are some of the reasons for decreasing sperm counts. But in many of the cases, sometimes we're not able to pinpoint the exact reason for your poor sperm report, and those cases are known as idiopathic. Now coming to the treatment. Okay, what you can do, what drugs can do, and what other therapy you can use if you are suffering from poor sperm report. Okay, so what you can do, of course, you can try to improve your lifestyle. Now, if you're too fat or too underweight, you can try to come into a normal BMI range. If you're using anabolic steroids or testosterone supplements for making your muscle mass, please stop doing that. You should definitely stop using alcohol and smoking, and because otherwise also it's not a good lifestyle habit, so it's better to avoid that. Smoking otherwise also, even if it's not affecting your sperm count, it will be harmful for your baby, because the passive smoking also affects the intrauterine baby, so your wife also would be affected and your unborn child also would be affected. So it's a good idea to stop using smoking and alcohol. So this is a lifestyle change that you can do. You can avoid prolonged driving. You can stop this habit of keeping your laptop in your lap for prolonged hours, and stop keeping the mobile in your pant pockets. Though the studies are not sure, we're not sure whether these electromagnetic radiation actually harms the sperm counts, but there are some studies to suggest it may be a good idea not to keep the mobile in your pant pocket. So these are the lifestyle changes that you can do. Then also in your dietary things, you can try not using too much of preserved food, too much of packaged food. You try eating healthy, good, nutritious, fresh vegetables and fruits and these kind of things. Okay, so that is the dietary change that you can do yourself. Also, you should avoid wearing tight underwears, and you should avoid hot sauna bath. You should avoid prolonged driving, that can really help you. Then there are certain drugs like vitamins and antioxidants which are supposed to help the sperm count, like vitamin C, zinc, vitamin E, and CoQ10. CoQ10 is it's kind of a power supply. It's kind of a mitochondrial energizer for the sperm, and these have been shown to have good effects on the sperm, like astaxanthin. There are proven role of these antioxidants and vitamins, and your doctor would be prescribing them to you. Then coming to the artificial reproductive technologies, let's say you have done the lifestyle changes, you have done everything, still the problem has not been solved, which many of the cases times it may happen that these things have not resulted in any improvement in the sperm count, or so in that case you have to take help from a fertility specialist and go for artificial reproductive technology. In the artificial reproductive technology, either you may be proceeding towards IUI, which is intrauterine insemination, or you may be proceeding towards IVF, ICSI, or intracytoplasmic sperm injection. For IUI, which is a very simple technology, there is a video in our channel, and you can go back to that video and see how it is done. It's a very simple thing. The wife just takes one pill, we do a follicular study, and the husband's semen is prepared, and the washed motile sperms are inseminated inside the uterus. But there is a particular sperm count requirement for that, which is at least 5 million total motile sperms should be available for IUI to be successful. So it cannot be done in patients who have very small number of sperm, let's say 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. So at least 5 million, that to good motile sperms, should be available in a post-wash semen sample for IUI. If that is not, or if the IUIs have failed. So if the IUIs have failed, or if so much of sperms are not available, then you will have to proceed for intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So this is a revolutionary technology which has kind of revolutionized the treatment of male infertility in the last 2-3 decades. It came into clinical use in around 84-85, in which we take one egg of the wife and one sperm and inject one sperm into each egg. So in earlier times, when millions of sperm were needed, when lakhs and lakhs of sperms were needed for fertilizing one egg, the technology came where only one sperm is sufficient for fertilizing one egg. So this kind of revolutionized the host treatment, and since then millions of babies have been born to such men where earlier fatherhood was not possible. It's a revolutionary technology and it's easy. So if the drugs have not helped you, if lifestyle changes have not helped you, then do not waste too much of time. Just take 4, 5, 6 months. If it hasn't helped you, then please consult a fertility specialist timely and go ahead with artificial reproductive technology. So in the end, I would like to summarize. Number 1, definitely do semen analysis if the couple is suffering from infertility. Number 2, do a semen analysis from a good reputed laboratory. Number 3, if the semen count or motility, the sperm report has come out to be poor, please do not worry. Repeat the sample at least 3 times before actually worrying about it. And even if it has come out to be late, do not worry about it. Try to improve your lifestyle, like stop alcohol, stop smoking, other things that I have told in the video, and then consult a good fertility specialist. Do not waste time. If the sperm counts are poorer, there are wonderful technologies available, but wife's age is very important, and do not waste time and take timely help. So I've got many couples where they have come after 10 years or 8 years of being diagnosed with low sperm count or poor sperm motility, and I don't know why they took so much of time in going ahead with IVF-ICSI, because of maybe many myths associated with IVF-ICSI. But do not worry about that. It's a very simple, safe technology. Go ahead if it is needed. I hope many of you must have got your answers, whosoever is suffering from low sperm count or motility or shape problems. And if you have any more questions, you can write down in the comment section below, and we would try to answer those questions either directly or through one of our live sessions. And I hope this video would be useful for your treatment. Thank you.